ready for some football. I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Lou? Yeah.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to Sunday Night Football Overtime. Cowboys, Niners. I had no intentions of doing this. I was on cloud nine, taking in all of the content from the Commanders' wild win over the Chicago Bears in Week 8. And I watched the entire game. I was live the entire game. Watched the 49ers try to blow it like they had done two previous times this season in the fourth quarter, double-digit leads. But they held on 30-24. And so because it's Dallas, because they're dead, I wanted to talk about it. I mean, what better way to cap off the day than to shit on Dallas? I've already had a great day. And it can only get better with one thing, and that's a Cowboys loss. Now, truth be told, they're no longer a threat. They've been put down. They've been terminated. Tonight was the night, like Betty Wright. I already told you, this schedule that they had this year, the schedule makers did them no favors. They gave them no time to rest. They needed to come out of the gate swinging at the beginning of the season, which they did not. And there was no time for them to get their bearings, underneath them. They had to take full advantage of some games. They needed to win a game or two that maybe people didn't expect them to. But that just hasn't happened, right? They won the games they were supposed to win. They beat the Giants. They beat the Browns, right? Who was the third team? They beat the Steelers. That's a team. That was a game that I don't think people expected them to win, but that was a game that was there for the taking, and they took it, right? But everybody else on the schedule, the Saints, they probably should have won that game, right? I mean, obviously the score says otherwise, but that's not a good football team. They were a better team when Dallas played them in week 2, but there was no excuse to lose the way that they lost that game. And then Detroit, and then Baltimore. These are all tough teams. These are teams that were playoff teams a season ago. In the case of Baltimore and Detroit, those are championship teams from a season ago. Both played in their respective conferences championship game, right? Like, that's the kind of schedule Dallas was up against. And you knew it was going to be tough. The question was, could they navigate? It wasn't pretty, and they've had injuries and, the all in and not doing enough. With all that said, they were 3-3 coming off the bye. And this is as wounded a 49ers team as you're going to get. It's not going to get any better in terms, like, I talked to my dad. You know my dad, Boss Man. For those of you who are aware, affectionately, he's Boss Man. I talked to Boss Man when I got his picks on Thursday night. And he usually, if he don't think Dallas is going to win, he'll straight up tell me, not picking us. We're not. And he told me when they were going into this stretch of games, and the first of those games was the Steelers game. And I told him, I said, man, this is like death row, bro. I don't know how y'all going to make it out alive with the shit y'all been doing. He was like, he said, we going to beat Pittsburgh. I don't think we're going to win any more games in this stretch. We could beat Pittsburgh, though. And they beat Pittsburgh, right? So he had me thinking. I'm like, man, do I need to change my shit? Because he didn't pick them against Detroit. And for good reason. And then you come off the bye and you look at San Francisco and you saw what happened to them the last time they were out. And you just keep thinking, okay, they beat Seattle. They about to get their shit together. And then they lose last week in the fashion that they lost. And you just go, I don't really know what to make of San Francisco at this point, right? And so I asked him for his Cowboys pick, and he's like, man, if we can't get him this time, we ain't going to never get him. I think we're going to get this one. So he had confidence. And it reminded me of what's my man's name? I don't know why I'm blanking on my man, the mailman was on the Super Friends stream with us, and he thought they was gonna beat San Francisco too. And he's like, I don't know why everybody's giving up on us. We only 3-3. It's not like we 2-5. We 3-3. And I'm like, because y'all look like shit. You know what I mean? Like, you got 240 burgers put on you on your skull at the crib. That's not normal behavior. That's not okay. And you know, one of the ways that the Cowboys fans try to explain away some of these ass whoopings here of late. Oh, we banged up. We don't got Tank Lawrence. We don't got Michael Parsons. And I'm like, cool, but both of those dudes were healthy when the Saints hung 47 on your head in week 2. So that excuse kind of goes out the window there, if that makes sense. Now, you can try to come at me with Deron Bland, this and that. I don't know if he's back now, you know, since the bye week or whatever, but he's not going to make that much of a difference either. This is who you are. This is the roster that you assembled. You can thank Jerry Jones for this roster that you have that is inferior. You can thank Jerry Jones for the coaching staff that you have because it too is inferior. And when you have an inferior roster, when you have an inferior coaching staff, you get an inferior product. And that's what the Cowboys are getting right now. And Dak Prescott, to me, is a lot like Jalen Hurts in the sense of he needs some semblance of a run game. Like, and I'm not trying to say that as like some kind of derogatory thing. Most quarterbacks need a run game. You know, not all quarterbacks have to have one, but it's nice to have a run game. They have zero run game. Like, it's one thing. You don't have to be top 5 in the league rushing to be effective. They got nothing in Dallas. Ezekiel Elliott led the team in rushing tonight with 34 yards on 11 carries. Like, that stinks. That you trotting out 82-year-old Ezekiel Elliott and expecting this man to carry the load along with Dalvin Cook, who he's starting to get up there in age as well. He's probably about 56 years old. So, I mean, when we having a conversation about you missing Rico Dowdle, man, you down bad, real bad, right? If Jalen Tolbert is your second best receiver, you down bad, real bad. And if you don't got one of them ones, which you don't, clearly, we're going to talk about old daiquiri sweet like syrup here in a second. If you don't got one of them ones, then you can't have Jalen Tolbert as your second best receiver. You can't have Rico Dowdle as your best running back. Okay? You can't be trotting these dudes out. You can't have these 5 funny lookings up front protecting Dak and trying to open up holes for an inferior run game. Now, Zach Martin's not a funny looking, and Trey Smith isn't a funny looking, but the rest of these dudes, and to a lesser degree, still, right, isn't a funny looking, but he is though. And I asked the question to several Cowboys fans. Hey, this offensive line better? And, you know, they tried to lie to me to my face. Like I don't do this. This offensive line better? And yes, Cooper BB's played well. He ain't no world beater, though. He's played well. But this offensive line ain't good. The run game stinks. The receivers outside of CeeDee Lamb, average at best. I like your tight ends, but I mean, it's really just Jake Ferguson, if we being honest. How's that Luke Schoonmaker second-round pick going for you? How's that Mozzie Smith first-round pick going for you? It's a lot of struggles over there, man. But through it all, they were 3-3, coming off the bye. And this is as wounded we've seen the San Francisco 49ers in a very, very long time. There's no Brandon Ayuk. You had Deebo Samuel getting out of the hospital with fluid in his lungs and ammonia-like symptoms where he was hospitalized. You have no Christian McCaffrey. Every week, George Kittle is on the injury report. You got what's my man, number 15, the receiver from Tennessee that's really good for them. He's injured too. I don't know why I can't remember his name right now, but he's banged up too. And you just go, if you can't get these boys this time, when you gonna get them? And look, this thing was 10-3 in the second quarter, and I was like, man, you know what? Dallas might actually get them. They might actually get them. And then it was 10-6. And then San Francisco had the ball before half once more because Dallas went 3-9. I was like, if they can make this 10-9, I feel better about San Francisco's chances in the second half. Typical Dallas shit. They win the toss. They want to receive the toss, and they ain't do shit with it at the beginning of the game. So San Francisco got the ball after half, and then they proceeded to open up a big, whopping ass can of whoop ass in the third quarter on Dallas. This was a 10-6 game. Dallas up. 49ers scored 21 points in the third quarter and took a commanding 27-10 lead. Now, if you've watched the 49ers this season, then you know that no lead is safe with the San Francisco 49ers. All right? They blew a double-digit fourth quarter lead to the Los Angeles Rams earlier in the season. Jennings, that's his name, Jawan Jennings, had a monster day. A monster day. Career day across the board and 3 touchdowns. All 3 of their touchdowns. He caught them all. There was no Deebo Samuel in that game. It was just Jawan Jennings. And he went off, and they spoiled it because they couldn't get stops, and they gave up a big-ass, punt return at the end of the game, and all the momentum shifted and switched, and they lost the game to the damn Rams. They lost to the Cardinals, had a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter to them. Little different circumstances. Kicker gets hurt. Don't have a field goal kicker. Kind of put you in a bind, but you still could have won the game if Mason doesn't fumble the damn ball in the red zone. Shit happens, right? You weren't going to beat Kansas City. Shit wasn't going to happen. But you gave it an old college try. But the injuries are piling up. And you get to this game tonight, and I'm not going to lie to you, the start was a bit ominous. It felt like it, at least. You're on your third field goal kicker. He makes a kick to kick off the game, put you up 3-0, but you're like, you need touchdowns, bro. And then you got another opportunity, but you don't get shit out of it. Dallas finally gets on the board. Then it's 10-3, and you're saying, I remember I was live watching the game, doing my stream, and I'm like, yo, 49ers going to lose this damn game. They tripping, man. And they get the field goal, and I said they need a touchdown. Of course, they didn't get the touchdown. They got a field goal. It's 10-6. They weren't able to get the field goal before halftime, but they exploded in the third quarter. Like I said, 21 unanswered points. Purdy got in his bag in the third quarter. Was perfect. I think he was 7-7 for 131 yards and either 1 or 2. He only had 1 touchdown pass in the game, and his lone touchdown came in that third quarter. I mean, he was dealing. Like, he looked like the Brock Purdy. Because even some of the throws at the beginning, it was one to Deebo Samuel where you go, come on, Brock. He reaching back and shit like this. He should have been running away from Kendricks, not reaching back into him to make the catch, right? Like, get your shit together. But as I've said, one of the most underrated qualities about Brock Purdy is his athleticism. People don't give him enough credit for his athleticism, at least in my estimation. Like, he can get down when it comes time for him to use his legs. Brock will move on your ass quick. He got some wheels on him, and I thought he showcased them a ton tonight. But it's still like something off with this dude for me. Like, I'll give you an example. I'll give you a great example. For as good as he was in the third quarter, and that was some high-level quarterback, and that was some high-level Brock Purdy in the third quarter. which allowed them to take that commanding 27-10 lead. For as good as he was equally as basic and almost debilitating for the 49ers in the fourth quarter. Give you a couple of examples. They're up 27-17. Dallas is all of a sudden trying to come to life, right? And it might have been 27. It might have been 17-30 at this point, because after Dallas cut it to 27-17, they went down and got a field goal and made it. They got the Ricky Pearsall. It was so good to see him out there running around. Quick little jet sweep action. He turned the corner and took it up the sideline and got him in the field goal range. I said, you need a touchdown. I don't trust you. Being up 13, I don't trust you. Get the touchdown, push it back up to 3 scores, and then it's a done deal. Of course, 49ers don't like nice things. They don't like to do things the easy and clean way. No, they had to make it dirty. Of course they did. So they settled for the field goal, and it's 30-17. On one of these possessions, and I want to say the score was 27-17. This was the Pearsall possession. I'm guessing, because it was never 27-24. It was never that. So I'm guessing it was 27-17, and Purdy rolls out to his right. And the ball gets tipped by a Cowboys defender as he's trying to throw it. And there's another defender behind that defender, and it caroms to him, and he just can't corral it. He should have caught it, and if he catches it, it's probably a pick six. And I'm saying to my Brock, what are you doing, bro? Seriously. They can't beat you without help. Are you trying to help them? What are you doing? Then there's a third down play. Deebo Samuel is going across the middle of the field, wide ass open. All you got to do is hit him. And we get into that crucial point of the game where, like, they did the same shit against Baltimore. We know they're capable, and more importantly, forget about Dallas. The hell with Dallas. This ain't even about them. This is about you, where your psyche at, where your mental at. If you're a 49ers player and you done already got walked down twice in the fourth quarter and lost 2 games that you should have won, mentally, you don't want to be in that space where the shit gets close, because I don't know if you mentally where you need to be to lock it down, right? Don't even put yourself in that position. You up 30-24. Debo's open on a shallow cross. This will get you the first down. You get this first down, the game pretty much over. What does Brock Purdy do? He throw the bitch a half yard behind him. Incomplete. They got a punt. And I'm thinking, they finna lose this game. I told the mob, I said, either they're going to lose this game 31-30, or they're going to have to go back down the field and kick a walk-off field goal and win 33-31. And I don't know about you, but the third kicker that I done signed this year, I ain't really trying to look for him to be the winner, the hero, right? I ain't really trying to do that. Thank God for Lenore. I really like him, by the way. He picks off Dak Prescott, and I pretty much sealed the deal. But somehow these 49ers, but you want to tell you who was really good tonight? And I was a massive fan of his coming out. It's Isaac Guerendo. He was awesome. What did he do tonight? Let me get the exact numbers on Isaac Guerendo tonight, because Isaac was kicking some ass. And I love the fact that he slid in bounds at the end, even though he could have scored. They didn't have enough time to score 2 touchdowns, but why leave it to chance, right? 14 carries, 85 yards, and a touchdown for Isaac Guerendo tonight. He looked the part. He looked the part. That's for damn sure. He was outstanding. And you're going to need guys to step up, because like I'm at the point with Christian McCaffrey now where I'm like, it's almost like chasing a ghost. If you're a 49ers fan, you waiting for this man to come back, and he might not come back this year. Or if he comes back, he might not be Christian McCaffrey. Not the one you knew, at least, from last year, and the one you traded for from Carolina. That guy might not be coming back this year. That might be a next year thing, or he might not ever come back. I can't say. But feel like you're chasing a ghost right now. You're going to need these other running backs to step up. And you just need to go about your business as if Christian McCaffrey ain't coming back. That's how I would carry it. And so if that's the case, if that in fact ends up being the case, which it probably won't, McCaffrey's going to give it a shot, even if he's not 100% or he's not himself. He's going to give it a shot at some point this season. But you're going to need, all hands on deck, Mason and Garendo and all of those dudes to step up. And it's good to see Garendo finally getting his feet wet. And, Kyle has, done a really good job of finding ways to kind of offset it, whether it's putting Debo back there. I think you're going to see Ricky Pearsall get some touches in the run game like we did tonight with the jet sweep. So they're going to find alternatives to offset the running back position. But when it's all said and done, you still got to be able to run it. And Garendo looked good tonight. And speaking of good, I think Purdy had like 60 yards rushing, like 58 yards, something like that rushing too. So I told you, Purdy's legs was hitting tonight. Like he definitely had those on full display. But when it's all said and done, I just don't get the it factor from the 49ers this year. They can still get to the quarterback. Fred Warner is still a beast. I like pieces of their secondary. I like Ronaldo Green. I think he's playing really well as a rookie. I think we had the same conversation when they beat Seattle, that the class of rookies performed really, really well, right? Pony and Green and Garendo and Pearsall. Now you saw him with the jet sweep and what he can provide for them. And all this conversation we was having, it was everybody but Pearsall, essentially. He had really not done anything to this point. And all the other guys had stepped up in some way, shape, or form. And one of the, they had a safety from Wake Forest that was, had a contribution. I think he had a pick that night against Seattle. And so they had a lot of guys from that draft class performing. And that's cool. But it just feel like something off with them. Other than the injuries, obviously no Ayuk, no Jawan Jennings right now, no Christian McCaffrey. It'll do that to you real quick. But you still got Kittle, still got Debo, and you still got Brock Purdy. And you just got to figure this shit out. And that's what they did tonight. It was the George Kittle show, with featuring Debo Samuel and Isaac Garendo. But it was the George Kittle show. He was a guy that they just had no answers for tonight. I think he had 6 catches, like 135 yards. He made some big plays, some big run after catches. One set up a score in that third quarter when they went off. A lot of the big plays in that third quarter started with George Kittle, right? He was fantastic tonight. And sometimes you forget about the greatness of George Kittle because he's such a dominant blocker. And the 49ers will go a whole game and only throw it to him 3 times. And he'll have 3 catches, but 2 of them will be for touchdowns, But sometimes you can fall into that trap of forgetting about George Kittle. That wasn't the case tonight. He was phenomenal. As far as the defense is concerned, I thought they were really good until the fourth quarter. And don't ask me what the hell happened in the fourth quarter, whether they shut it down, whether they thought they had the game in the bag. They were kind of playing to not give up anything cheap and deep, but it felt like they were giving up all these chunk plays, and they ran into each other on the last touchdown that CeeDee Lamb had. CeeDee Lamb had like 14 catches for 100, his first 100-yard game of the season. I'm like, there's nobody else. You want to know why CeeDee Lamb hasn't had a 100-yard game this season? Because there's nobody else. Who else do I have to cover? You want to beat me with Jake Ferguson? Go right ahead. You want to beat me with one of these bum-ass running backs? Go right ahead. I dare you. I double dog dare you to try to beat me with Jalen Tolbert. The only team that let you get away with that shit was the Pittsburgh Steelers. Everybody else said, I dare you to beat me with the CeeDee Lamb. Because I damn sure ain't going to let you. Bracket his ass. Beat me with somebody else. They don't have the horses to do it. And tonight, for some reason, the 49ers kind of got away from that. At first, they were doing a pretty solid job. And then as the game wore on, he got more and more open, more and more comfortable. And him and Dak started to really get into a rhythm and groove. And next thing you know, touchdown, touchdown. Both of Dak's touchdown passes went to CeeDee Lamb. And all of a sudden, CeeDee is cutting up and they right back in his ball game. But in typical Dak fashion, both of the interceptions were horrible. The first one was terrible. He pretty much threw the ball up into double coverage and it got picked off punt style. Like, what the hell are you doing, man? The second one, you got to give Lenore some credit. That's a hell of a play. A lot of dudes don't even look back for the damn ball in that situation. So for him to look back, locate the ball, go up and make a play on it was special. But he didn't give his receiver a chance on that play. That ball was not thrown far enough. That ball was in a better position to be picked off than it was caught by CeeDee Lamb. And, I mean, I just feel like Dak is too old to be making the same damn mistakes. You too old for this shit. He feel like a 7th grader that's still pissing on himself. And like, bro, you too old for this. You know damn well if you got to go to the bathroom, go to the damn bathroom. Do not piss on yourself. And you feel like you too old for this shit, man. How long are you going to keep doing the same shit over and over again? And it's impossible to defend him if you're a Cowboys fan because that garbage time shit just ain't, that don't move nobody. At this point, y'all should be over falling down by 3 scores and then all of a sudden the other team take their foot off the gas pedal. Y'all get hot, score some points, make it interesting, but still finally ultimately lose the game. Like, you're just going to wash, rinse, and repeat again? Like, if you're a Cowboys fan, this shit is over. Now, when I say it's over this year. McCarthy's going to get fired. Obviously, you're going to move on from Mike Zimmer. And you're going to bring a whole new staff in here. And I wonder what that's going to look like. Because it's going to take a special individual to work for Jerry Jones. I can't see a Bill Belichick or somebody like that jumping in the mix. I think it's got to be either a coach dying to get back in, and I think Belichick going to have some options. I say that, and I could be wrong. But I wonder if a Mike Vrabel would be interested or someone like that. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see who would want to work for Jerry because Jerry's a piece of work. And he's not just your average run-of-the-mill standard NFL owner. He is an acquired taste, and for most, one that you never get accustomed to. This guy does interviews after every game. He does a radio spot during the week. He's very opinionated. He says whatever the hell he wants because who's going to stop him? I'm Jerry Jones. So I just love the fact that the Cowboys are struggling like this. This brings back great memories of yesteryear when the Cowboys used to suck ass and they were at this point of their season and the shit was going sideways. They haven't been here in a long time, just so we're clear, right? Like, they haven't been this bad because this thing is about to spiral out of control. You've seen their schedule, right? We've done this before. This shit's about to spiral on them because nobody's going to take it easy on them. They got Atlanta. They can beat Atlanta now. I will tell you that. They can beat Atlanta, and that's going to be an interesting game, but I'm going to talk to my sister this week, and I'm going to grab her face like this, and I'm going to say, come here. You got the Cowboys this week. Cobra Kai. No mercy, ho. Me and my sister talk to each other like that. You can't talk to my sister like that. I kick your ass. But I can. No mercy, ho. Show these clowns what it's all about. Put them out their misery. Pop, pop. That's 2 to the head. Now, you know they dead. Drop on the 3 and 5. We gonna run their ass through the gauntlet. They got the Texans coming up here shortly. They got the Eagles. They got the Commanders. The worst record of the teams that they have over the next month is 5-2. That's the worst record they have. 5-3, technically speaking, because the Falcons are 5-3. It's the worst record. I believe the Falcons are 5-3. I think they 5-3. So the worst record is 5-3. So you got 5-2 Philly, 6-2 Houston, 6-2 Washington, 5-3 Atlanta. Good luck with that shit. They might get one of those games. Might. My guess is they get one. They probably get one. And Atlanta, I think, is the best option, the best opportunity for them to get one. I think it's Atlanta, but we'll see. I mean, that's a big one because if you fall 2 games under 500, ain't no coming back. Ain't no coming back. You got to stay within that 500 range just to keep yourself afloat. You win against Atlanta, you back to 4-4, and you right back in the mix. You know, you lose to Atlanta and drop to 3-5, you dead. You already throw in the towel right then and there. For San Francisco, I think what's going to ultimately be their saving grace is they play in a bad division. Right. And when I say I use that term loosely, let me rephrase that. They play in a competitive division. Let me say it that way. That sounds a lot better than bad, because bad would mean 2 of your teams are 2-win teams in the division. They don't have that. The worst team in their division right now is the Rams. They're 3-4, and they just won 2 in a row after starting the season off 1-4. So, Seattle 4-4 after getting thrashed today by the Bills. Arizona went to Miami and found a way to win. They're 4-4, and the 49ers are now 4-4. So it's a highly competitive division, but none of those teams are alphas. None of them. So if you're San Francisco, it's still your division to lose, but you got to find a way to start stringing together some victories and get consistent. This bye week couldn't have come at a better time. The hope is that McCaffrey will be back after the bye. That's the hope. You hope Juwan Jennings is back after the bye. Debo is healthier. George is healthier, right? And you start getting some of your shit back, and all of a sudden, now you're ready to rock and roll. That's the hope. We'll see. But I looked at the schedule. It's not a daunting task. Some toughies in there. Don't get it twisted, but I think 49ers are going to be just fine. I refuse to count them out. I just refuse to do it. As far as Dallas is concerned, though, they on their deathbed. And they definitely need the assistance of a breathing machine right now. Like, they on a respirator. They can't breathe for themselves. It's not looking too good. It looks real morbid for them right now. And I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't love it. Did you see Trayvon Diggs? Shout out to Miss P. She sent me Trayvon Diggs. I'm gonna play it for y'all. Hey, this is when you know your shit spiraling out of control, yo. Hey, this shit is hilarious. I love the Cowboys, man. I really do. They Cowboys are for the people, man. This is Trayvon Diggs getting into it with a reporter. Listen up. Hold on, let me pull it back up. He wasn't trying to cooperate with me.
Buddy, took from that, out that whole play that you took from that, you don't know football. You can't do nothing. You can't go out there and do nothing. Stop playing, buddy. Stop playing.
Hey, That man said, talk about these nuts. Hey, look, if you out there, man, I know you smiling like a proud papa whose only son finally made it, man. That one was for you. That man said, talk about these nuts. What are you, like 12? Trayvon Diggs? Lord have mercy. I love the Cowboys, man. You got Michael Parsons talking to the ops, talking about his team, talking about Troy Aikman, criticizing his team. Yeah, Trayvon Diggs going off on a reporter. You got Jerry going nuclear on, members of the media, radio hosts, losing his shit. This talking about other men's meat and all kinds. Just, man, isn't it great to not be a Cowboys fan? Damn it, man, it feels great to not be a Cowboys fan. 3 years of 12-5 in a row. And this is where they are now. And they try to tell me they won't go miss Dan Quinn. Anyway, I digress. They are in some trouble. But the good thing is they still got to play the division. And that's the only way they're going to keep themselves in it. Beat Atlanta. And you're probably going to lose to Houston. But you never know. Houston, they ain't really got their shit together. I think it's another game in there before Houston. But they haven't played Philadelphia yet. They haven't played Washington yet. And so the bad part about Washington is you got one game in week 12 and then you don't play them again to the end of the season. You could get to the end of the season, that game don't mean a damn thing for Dallas. That's the likelihood is where you're trending, that's what it's going to be. That game is going to be meaningless for you because you're not going to be going anywhere but home at that point. So you're going to have to do a lot of work to make the games towards the end of the season matter, and it doesn't seem like they're trending in that direction. And what's very apparent with Dak right now is he is struggling to carry the load. He is a guy that has shown the ability to do that in the past, but he's always had the assistance of the defense, creating turnovers and short fields. And hell, every now and again, they just do it themselves. Special teams would chip in. They were blocking kicks and returning them shits last year and doing all kinds of crazy shit. And they're just not forcing turnovers. They are turning it over themselves. And that's a recipe for disaster. So they're having to work hard. They're having to drive the length of the field consistently, which they're not good enough to do without making some sort of mistake. I'd venture to say that right now, Dak Prescott has to be top 7. I might even be able to go as high as top 5 in the league in interceptions thrown. I'm actually curious. He threw 2 more tonight. Feels like he throws at least 2 every game. And I don't think he threw any against. I lied. He definitely threw 2 in that Pittsburgh game, didn't he? He had 3 turnovers in the red zone, I think. 2 interceptions and 1 fumble, right? Or was it just 1 interception and 1 fumble? I don't know. Let's find out. That's only one way to find out, right? Let's just check and see. Oh, Dakary Prescott. He had 2 this week. He had 2 against Detroit. He had 2 against Pittsburgh. None against the Giants. None against the Ravens. 2 against New Orleans. So he's got 4 games of 2 interceptions. In the other 3 games, he's got none. So he's got 8 interceptions this season. 10. And remember, this was a big problem 2 years ago, right? Last year, we were all Dak was the leader, this, that, and third. And then he cleaned the shit up last year. He's back to his old ways again, turning that bitch over. Last year, he threw 9 interceptions the whole entire season. 9. The year before that, he had 15, and he was among the league leaders in interceptions thrown. He's on pace to smoke. And that 15, 2 years ago, was a career high for him. He's on pace to smoke that shit. Right? He's on pace to smoke that 15 interception season. So we'll see if he continues down there. Let me see Who leads the NFL in interceptions? I want to see where he ranks in interceptions. And let's see. Let's see. So, total turnovers this season. Gardner Minshew leads the pack with 11 total turnovers. He got 8 interceptions. And so the most interceptions this season is Jordan Love. I told y'all he's a machine, boy. Jordan Love be turning that bitch over like it's going out of style. So Jordan Love has thrown 9 interceptions. Mahomes, this is sort of a surprise for those who haven't been paying attention, but he's been turning that bitch over too. He's got 9 interceptions this season. Mayfield, he had a rough day this week and then against New Orleans a couple weeks ago, but they won that game. But he had a rough go of it there too. He had a rough go of it last week too against Baltimore. So you put the last 3 weeks have really marred what was a great start for Baker Mayfield because he threw at least 3 interceptions, it feels like, in that New Orleans game. That first half was dreadful, but they turned it up in the second half. Then against Baltimore last week, I think he threw 2. Both of them were to Marlon Humphrey, if I'm not mistaken. And then this week, I think he threw another 2 to Atlanta. And not probably. I watched both of them for sure. He threw 2. Jesse Bates made a hell of a play, and then AJ Terrell made a hell of a play on the other one. So Bake been getting, nasty here of late. Gardner threw 8. So Dak is tied for the second most interceptions right now with 8. He's got 9 total turnovers, which that's good for the third most, tied for the third most, along with Brock Purdy on this list with 9, turnovers. He's got 7 interceptions. And Purdy's 7 is good for third most in the league. 9 is the most right now. Love, Mahomes, and Mayfield. Minshew and Prescott have 8. And then Cousins, Levis, Purdy, Richardson, Rodgers, Geno all have 7 interceptions. So it's a lot of quarterbacks throwing a lot of picks this season. And 2 of the quarterbacks we saw tonight are among the league leaders in interceptions thrown. And I can see it with Purdy because Purdy be doing some questionable shit too. A lot of these young quarterbacks be getting away with some real F shit. I told you Jordan Love, I don't trust his ass at all. Right? He be putting the ball in all kinds of harm's way. Brock Purdy, I just think he be missing. You just be like, come on, Brock. Like, he the type that throw interception. Like, Jordan Love, the type that'll throw an interception, like, right to a dude. Where you go, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Brock Purdy is the type that'll throw a pass that'll tip off his dude's fingers into somebody's hands because he inaccurate with the shit. Right? It ain't because he shouldn't have thrown that. It's like, he opened. What kind of throw was that, though? What the hell was up with that ball placement? Right? That's the type of shit he be on, where it tip off somebody's hands and into the hands of a defender. That be making some questionable decisions where you go, bro, you didn't see that defender right there? Like the interception, the first one. Bro, you trying to tell me you ain't see that safety there the whole time. That's what you telling me? You thought it was one-on-one the whole time. Like, that shit came down like a punt. The safety literally just slid over like, oh, shit. Get this fair catch. Like, you didn't see him? Too often, he's doing some shit like that. I don't understand it. But I digress. Let's get into this quick little ad read from BetUS. And then we're going to come back on the other side of that. We're going to get to y'all comments. Let's jump into Inside the Odds, brought to you by BetUS.
Inside the Odds.
All right. Set this up. I ain't do a good job of having shit set up before. So you gotta bear with the kid. Looking for a new book this football season. And like I said, forget about football season. It's just that time of the year. College basketball is gonna be up and running here probably in the next week or so. Looking forward to that because I'm a Duke fan. Cooper Flag looking like that guy. It's gonna feel like that Zion year all over again. I think we might have a squad this year, so looking forward to that. NBA is up and running, right? My Grizz are 2-1, not bad. You got the World Series Game 3 is coming up here tomorrow. Shit's about to get interesting. If you are the Yankees, it's getting late early. Better go home and win this first game and make it a series, or else this shit could be over quick. Then you got the NFL, obviously, is king. You got college football. They in the swing of things. No real big, no big waves were made in college football. You only had one really intriguing matchup, LSU versus Texas A&M this week. Texas A&M took care of business there. That's a big win if you're a Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan like myself, because that's the only real win we got on our schedule. I mean, Louisville was ranked when we beat them, and Navy was just ranked when we beat them, but the real big win on the road early in the season was Texas A&M. They were a top 7, I think, team in the nation when we beat them. And so that was a big one. And the better they do, the better that win looks for us. It helps us move up a little bit because you lose to NIU like we did, you kind of just stuck. But that was a big win. And so forth and so forth. Hockey's going on. Everything you could imagine is there to bet on. And that's where BetUS comes into play, right? Great odds, fastest payouts in the industry. Get up to 10% back on your net losses twice a year as long as you're active for a 6-month period. And then here's the big kicker. If you've never used BetUS before, give them a shot. Sign up bonus, 150% on your first deposit up to $2,000. Your next 2 deposits, 125% off up to $2,000 when you use the promo code YouTube150. Remember, only bet what you can afford to lose and bet responsibly. All right. A lot of people don't go chasing losses. I see it happen all the time. Do not go chasing losses. Know when to say when. All right. With that said, as you can see, spread on this game, 4.5-point dogs. The Cowboys were. The Niners tried to blow this one for a second. It was like, oh, this is going to be an easy cover on the money line, right? Easy. And then shit got interesting late, right? But as we saw, the 49ers prevailed, got the interception late, was able to run the clock out. Big run at the end by Isaac Guerendo to put this thing on ice. And they preserved the 30-24 victory, thus covering the spread. And everybody goes home happy and a winner. So we've let me see if I wanted to bring some newer odds into the fold. I'll probably do that the next time. Bring in some newer odds. I think the Cowboys play the Texans on primetime here in the next 2-3 weeks. So we'll see where Dallas is then and what their odds are to be a wild card, this, that, and the third. They ain't winning the division. It's a 2-division race in the NFC East. I think the more interesting division to take a look at, maybe we'll do that the next time the 49ers are on primetime. Or any team in that division for that matter. Somebody in the West is going to be on primetime here over the next 2 or 3 weeks. Let's take a look at that division's odds, kind of pull up what they look like to start. I'm pretty sure if I had to guess, if I were a betting man, San Francisco light years ahead of everybody else before the season started. Now it's going to be really interesting to see what those odds look like after they've gotten off to the start that they have. Brandon Ayuk's out for the season. Don't know when Christian McCaffrey is going to be back. You know, Debo's been in and out. Well, I won't say in and out of the lineup. He's tried to give it a go the last couple of weeks. He was really good today, but he's had some issues staying healthy himself. Juwan Jennings has been out of here of late, and so a lot of shit going on with the 49ers. And then you look at them, already lost 2 games in the division. They're 1-2 in the division. So that factors into the, standings there as well. So really interesting stuff. Want to check out what the odds are for that division and what they think is going to happen there. I would guess still that the 49ers are the favorites, and they should be. They still should be the favorites. Just like in the NFC East, the Eagles are still the favorites. They're still the favorites, and I got respect for that. I get it. We got to show that we are serious and that we can take the title from Philadelphia. I mean, they didn't win it last year, but they've been passing it back and forth between Dallas and Philly, and now that Dallas really doesn't look like they're a major player, it just de facto goes to Philadelphia. They got the best roster in the division, but I still think they're poorly coached. So we'll see what happens. But they were very impressive today. Got to give them credit where credit is due. So let's get to the comment section and see what you guys have to say. And here we go. Start off with my guy, Eric Sunderland. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. And let me just throw this out here real quick. If you out there, you want your comment read, you know how this goes. If you don't and you're a newbie, welcome. Use the hashtag LouieTLive to have your comment read on the air if it is pertinent and time permits. Get to your comment. We'll read it. We'll react to it, so forth and so forth. If you want to ensure that your comment gets read and we react to it, super chats are the only way to do that. And of course, with super chats, they take priority and precedence over standard comments. You go straight to the front of the line. So let's get to the comment section. We start with my guy, Eric Sunderland. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, the latest of late night Louie. It was one of those nights, man. You know, I'd started taking in all of the bonus content, listening to everybody react to the Hail Mary. I'm calling that shit the bear trap. I'm going to try to get that shit going. So from now on, we calling that play the bear trap. And I'm going to put that out on social media, and I'm going to try to get that shit going because I like that name that y'all came up with in the comment section. Everybody trying to figure out what we going to call that shit. It is the bear trap, God damn it. And that's what we rolling with. So I'm going to push that shit. I'm pushing that like a damn agenda and a narrative. I'm going to push that bitch out there on socials tomorrow. And I'm going to just keep calling this shit the bear trap, the bear trap. And I hope people just run with that shit. And we going to say we started that bitch, right? If it takes off and it ends up being the name. We started that shit over here. So that's what we rolling with. I like that one. But yeah, I was taking in all of the bear trap content and I just was on overload. And then I was like, yo, I watched that whole Cowboys game. They asked, I want to talk about it. And I want to talk about San Francisco because I ain't ready to quit them yet, but they off. It's something off, right? They off. But their division isn't good enough to take advantage of them being off. So when it's all said and done, and as we all know, if you've been a fan of this thing as long as I have, we all know all you got to do is get in the tournament, baby. That's it. Especially if you're a team like San Francisco, you just got to get in the tournament, baby. That's it. Duncan Wright, been a member for 9 months. Really appreciate you. My guy Duncan writes, the best kind of Lou is the late night Lou. Hey. I've had some streams. If y'all would have, I actually was thinking about going live on Saturday because I had my kids, but my wife wasn't home, and she be the one that I really be trying to spend time with on the weekends because we like two ships passing in the night during the week. We try to make time for each other, but her schedule is busy, mine is busy. So the weekends are blocked off. We try to spend as much time with each other as we can. And she wasn't home. She went out to homecoming this weekend. For those of you who are familiar, Norfolk State homecoming is always the last Saturday in October. So she went to homecoming, and I was home by myself. And I ain't gonna lie, I was high as a bitch. And I thought about doing my stream because I hadn't given y'all my picks 1 and 2. We never got to go over the slates for last week. So I didn't get to go slate skating last week. So I was gonna do it. That would have been a crazy stream had I. We gonna talk about it when I do my next podcast episode, because I watched another show that y'all failed to tell me about. And I want to get y'all opinion if y'all watched the show or not. But I'll ask y'all about that when we get to the podcast. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny, thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Writes, Lou, you already know. You already know. I'm telling you, Lou, today was the first day I didn't rock Wild Goose. What are you doing, man? If we have habits that have created success, what are we doing? Huh? Come on, man. You know the rules to the game, then play. If the Wild Goose jersey is mandatory for success, why are we having this discussion, Big Money Sonny? The goose should always be loose on Sundays if that's what it takes to get the dub. Now, we still won, but it was in unconventional fashion, right? Got me a big money jersey next week against New York. Number 4 missile. Defense almost got us, but JD5, baby. Look. So you got a Louisville coming. I'm going to tell you right now, the defense played really well. I went back and, I watched the shit again, right? Y'all know that. I already went back and watched that shit. Defense played well. And after the game, a lot of people gave the defense credit. I think I was hard on the defense. I really was. But I also said this too. I thought they ran out of gas. You know who's had some really good takes on this whole Caleb, Jaden thing, and he's been really spot on the whole time. And he can be abrasive to some, and sometimes he's full of hot air. But one thing I've learned about Colin Cowherd is he knows his college football. He know that. And when those guys first come in the league, he's all over it. And I think he's been really smart, super smart on this whole Jaden Caleb thing the whole time. I've been pleasantly surprised with a lot of his takes, and it's been very refreshing to listen to him talk. And he talked about the game, and he was spot on again about the game, how he felt about it. And, he said the better team won the game. Like, if Washington didn't win, it would have been really disappointing, because he's like, generally, I don't care who wins a lot of these games. Like, I don't have a rooting interest. He's like, although I did have Washington on the money line. A lot of people kept saying I had Washington on the money line. But he was like, they deserve to win the game. Like, they were the better team. Anybody that watched this game could clearly see that. But, they made some mistakes, and you look up, and that's a good Bears defense, and voila. But he crushed their play calling, which I did too. Like, the Bears are not a well-coached team, but that's not my business. I'm not a Bears fan, so I don't give a shit. But JD5 is something else, man. We got one of them ones, man, and he's a one of one, right? He's a one of one. Big Money Sonny, my guy. Thank you for your generosity, gifting 20 memberships. Wow. 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 Super generous. Can't thank you enough. Stand up. All 20 of y'all are the newest members of the MOBB, courtesy of my guy, Big Money Sonny. Thank you for the blessing. And it's the gift that keeps on giving, man. Blessing people with the opportunity to be a part of the mob and get this love, man. It's unconditional love when you in the mob. It's different around here. And it also helps when you win some football games. Makes it a lot better, man. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to Big Money Sonny for blessing 20 new memberships. Welcome to the squad, courtesy of Big Money Sonny. John Cedillo. My guy, John, always great to hear from you. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes? Sup, Lou? Sup, John? Roster needs to be overhauled. I agree. Starting with the O-line and D-line, probably makes some sense to trade Micah. Dak drove point surge and fourth, but also buried them with stupid turnovers. I couldn't agree with you more. I don't know if I would trade Micah. If you're looking to, if you were truly like really invested in the overhaul of this roster, he is your most intriguing asset, and there's a much bigger return because he is your most valuable asset at this point, outside of Dak, of course. But if you were looking to try to fast track a rebuild or an overhaul of the roster, you would think he would be one of the cornerstones that you would build around. But you could easily fetch I'd say you probably could fetch 2 1s for him if you were willing to trade him. I could see you getting 2 1s for Michael Parsons. So I don't see Dallas doing that, though. Like, that's just not how the Joneses rolls, right? So I think you're right. You've always been an offensive line type of team, and the offensive line needs work. Zach Martin's old. And I don't like shitting on young players, so I'm not going to tell you that Tyler Guyton can't do it. But I wasn't a big fan of his coming out of Oklahoma. But you never know. You know, the light bulb could come on next year or the year after that. But he doesn't feel like, you know, the best of replacements at left tackle. Trey Smith might actually be a better. I got to stop calling this man Trey Smith. What is his damn name? Trey Smith played for the damn Chiefs. I ain't mistaken. What is the name of that damn offensive lineman y'all got that play guard and tackle on the left side? One of y'all will tell me. But his last name, I think his name is Smith. It's not Trey though. I gotta stop calling him Trey Smith. I actually think he might be your best option at left tackle. Tyler Smith. Thank you. No, his name ain't no damn Trey. I keep calling him Trey Smith. That's the Chiefs lineman from Tennessee. Tyler Smith might actually be your best option at left tackle, but he's probably better suited for left guard. So you kind of weaken in 2 positions, but he's probably your best left tackle though, if that makes sense. But then you lose something if you move him from left guard, because that's, I think, where he excels. So you got to figure that whole left tackle situation. I think if you could get a left tackle, it'll slot everything properly. Cooper Beebe seems like a keeper at center. Eventually, you're going to have to replace Zach Martin, first ballot Hall of Famer when he retires. But just like Tyron Smith, at some point, you got to cut bait, right? Feels like we're getting closer and closer to that time. So, and then you've been getting by with Terrence Steele at right tackle for probably a lot longer than you should have. But it is what it is. At this point, it's all starting to feel like this shit ain't good enough on the line. And then can't run the ball. You don't have no running back. And you know, that's, I think, if I'm a Cowboys fan, 2 things stick out like a sore thumb. You knew you needed to stop the run better, and you got to stop putting a Band-Aid solution on shit. And you had enough draft capital to draft both a running back, a credible running back, and some defensive line help, and you passed on both to do exactly what? Don't ask me. That's the shit that be bothering me with Dallas, because they have this mentality of we the smartest in the room. We gonna go to South Alcorn State and draft a corner that you never heard of because we're Dallas, and that's what we do, right? I just thought that you could have had a better, like, there are teams that are getting so much out of their draft picks, so much usage, guys that are coming in and helping right away, and it just don't feel like you're getting that in Dallas. Just don't feel like that. And I think it's been that way for, honestly, the last 2 years. Whether it's Schoonmaker or Mozzie Smith, you're getting too many guys that aren't able to come in and help you right away. It sucked that Overshown, I like him a lot, and he's playing well. He should have forced a fumble tonight with that sack. But, a lot of guys don't be thinking about going after the ball because Purdy had no idea he was behind him. Yeah, that could have been a game-changing play. That ball should have come out. But Dak, like you said, those turnovers can't happen. And they happen at the most inopportune times. Not that there's ever a good time for a turnover, but he picks the worst time to turn it over. John Cedillo, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, I hate losing, but I need there to be no hope to be left so guys like Law can't peddle hopium into the fan base. As for that, man sees straight ghouls and ghosts with San Francisco. I don't know what the hell he was thinking on the first interception. The second one, he probably thought I can layer it over Lenore. And Lenore just made an excellent play. Similar to the one Baker Mayfield threw to Jesse Bates III. He thought I could layer this over Jesse Bates, and Jesse Bates went up and took that bitch. And it's the same thing that Lenore did. But the first one it's indefensible. Like, huh? There's no way you thought that was a good decision. If you win next week, the hopium will be pushed. Like, if you really want this thing to spiral, you gotta lose 2 or 3 in a row. Y'all thing is you'll lose one and then you'll win one. You'll lose one and you'll win one. You had a 2-game losing streak after you beat Cleveland, but then you proceeded to win 2 in a row, right? To get you back over 500. Now you've lost 2 in a row. Now you're back under 500. Then this is when you win, 1 or 2 in a row. And get you back up to, and then maybe potentially over 500. And that you keep playing that game, there's always a chance that you can still push that hopium, right? We'll see. Big Money Sonny. Been a member for 37 months. Salute. Writes, can't wait until I smoke a Newport, Lou. Oh, man. You're hilarious, dude. I swear you are, Big Money Sonny. You had them weak that one time on the Super Friends stream. My guy, Big Money Sonny. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Big Money Sonny. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? One more time, Lou. You already know. Feels good. See you next Sunday, Bad Dog. Only team winning in NYC this week are the Bronx Bombers. Salutes. Y'all better get it done in game 3, or that series could be over before it even really, truly gets started. Eric Sunderland, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. My guy, Sundi, writes, what's your favorite name for the play? I already told you. The Bear Trap. I think Maryland Miracle is gonna stick. I also like Legends of Landover and the Hail Maryland. What about you? The Bear Trap. That's the one. The Bear Trap. I like the Bear Trap. I don't want nothing to do with Maryland. I know you want to keep the Hail or the Mary in the name. I'm willing to go outside the box. Like, everybody either tries to keep it in the context of, like, again, the Hail Murray. You had the Minneapolis Miracle. Like, it's always got to be Miracle or nah. Let's go outside of that, right? Some of our fondest memories, the Monday Night Miracle, right? Like, it's always some miracle shit. Nah, let's go outside the box. That's easy, low-hanging fruit to grab a miracle or some kind of hail this or marry that. Nah, bump that. The bear trap. I like that shit. It's got a great ring to it. Big Money Sonny. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Big Money Sonny writes, hit the like, sub up, and super chat, y'all. Stand up. You know what it is. We in the building. Big shout out to everybody that's out there. I did not expect to have 100 people coming up this late at night. But I appreciate y'all jumping on with the kid and holding me down, man. So if y'all out there, hit the like button, sub up, all of that good stuff. Turn on your notification bell so you don't miss a thing when I go live like this shit, right? Impromptu, way later than the stream was supposed to start. We were still live when this joint was supposed to start. And I didn't know if I was going to do it tonight. Bam, here we go, right? Let's turn that notification bell on. DJ23. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, Pod, have you watched the Penguin Show? It's great. Yes, I talked about that. And I fussed at y'all because nobody said anything to me. Now, I had already seen it. Me and my wife had already watched the preview, but I forgot about it because it wasn't out yet. When we watched the preview, it still won't coming out for like another 2 weeks. So we put it down. We never came back. It came out. Ain't nobody say nothing. So I forgot all about it. And I just happened to be on the HBO Max stream and I saw it. It was one of the first things that popped up. And I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Is that joint out yet? And then sure enough, it was out. We watched. Now, we are not fully caught up. We got to catch back up. But I think we watched the first 2 episodes and they were maybe 3. I think we might have watched the first 2 or 3. They were damn good. Very, very good. Incredible. Colin Farrell is amazing. Amazing. Benjamin Slate, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Benjamin writes, NFL is a copycat league. Why do you think more teams not doing the tush push? Because not everybody has the Eagles offensive line. Not everybody has a quarterback that squats a small house. And not everybody is as successful as the Eagles are with it. They have it down to a science. A lot of teams have tried it, and a lot of teams fail. Quarterback doesn't get low enough. Quarterback doesn't find the right hole. The offensive line doesn't get low enough. There's not enough push. Everybody don't have what the Eagles have. Eagles, like I said, they've mastered that thing. And Hurts is damn near impossible to stop because he's so damn strong. He's like a damn brick wall. So they get behind him. They start pushing him. Good luck stopping that shit from being successful. Not everybody has a quarterback like that either. Like, it's an art, the quarterback sneaking the ball. And that's why Jacoby Brissett was one of the best, because he had that shit down to a science. Not everybody is good at quarterback sneaks. Like, Josh Allen sucks at the quarterback sneak because he be up too high and shit. He's so tall, though, right? So, like, Hurts is low to the ground. It's really beneficial for the Eagles to do it. And I'm not saying other teams can't, but because many have tried. But I watched somebody do it today and they ain't get the first down. I seen a team do the shit today. They ain't get the first down. And that's so, you think it's easy because the Eagles make it look easy, but it's not. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny writes, we've been through it, Lou. About damn time. Next, JD5 truly is a one of one. Defense about to catch up and get nasty. Watch. Give it time, homeboy. Oh, it's coming. I got faith in the coaching staff. I told you that already. And you see it, the development of this group and what they've been able to do from where we started at in week 1 versus Tampa to where we are now in week 8 versus Chicago. Light years difference. A total 180 in terms of a switch. So I'm feeling really good about where we're heading and what we've, started to build. Let's get to the comment section. We got about maybe 10 minutes or so. So get into this. I had the Seahawks Bills game on, but that shit went sideways quick. So I didn't watch enough of it to be able to. I'm gonna probably have to go back and watch it again because that one got real ugly real quick. Yeah, I went back and cleaned them up, Kevin, the PRF. I went back and cleaned it up. I appreciate you. It didn't dawn on me because I told you I was scatterbrained. You know, heart was pumping and racing, and I was going crazy, and you know, my thoughts were all over the place. So I read your super. I didn't even get to the chats, right? To the supers themselves. And then I think I went like another 10, 15, and then I was like, damn, Kevin the PRF told me the earlies were in. How did you just not read the earlies? So then I ended up going back and reading the earlies. So yeah. Sean McKenzie says 2 interceptions. JD5 would never. He hasn't had a 2 interception game this season. I mean, it's an event when he throws one, right? I mean, he threw one against the Browns and one against the Cardinals. So he's got 2 on the season. Like I said, it's an event. It's a pretty big deal when he does throw one because he takes care of the football. You know what I mean? Sean McKenzie says Dak Prescott 2 interceptions. JD5 would never. In the same game? What? That's allowed? That's kind of how we feel. Let's see. Let's see. Niners fan says, almost had a heart attack at the end of the game. Thankfully, our D-line stepped up. Bosa is back. You almost had a heart attack. Go if you at the end of that Commander stream, we were watching the game together. I was watching the whole thing, but I was kind of narrating the game because I was watching it as we were live. And I was having a heart attack. Like, I know these bastards ain't about to blow another lead because we felt it coming. Like Miss P was like, when it was 27-10, she was like, hey, they better not blow this damn lead. I'm like, girl, bye. They ain't blowing no lead. Then they scored a touchdown, made it 27-17, and I was like, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Wait, hold on. Maybe I spoke too soon. Did Ricky bust off that big run on the jet sweep? I'm like, yeah, they got this shit. Go score a touchdown just to make sure. I just want to be safe. Don't kick no damn field goal because that's 2 touchdowns. You can still lose this bitch 31-30. Score the touchdown, make it 34, and then we can go ahead. I could not like be so fixated on watching the game. I could just focus on these on my stream. Hell no, of course. 49ers always got to make shit complicated. Kick a field goal, it's 30-17. They go right down the field. I'm talking about bing, bang, boom, touchdown. I'm like, they didn't even make them work for that shit. Now it's 30-24. And then y'all go 3 and out pretty much. Bam, just like that. And that's when I think Brock missed Debo on the shallow cross and he was wide ass open. I'm like, you trying to lose the goddamn game. Like, if he was in front of me, I'd have hit him with one of these. Trying to lose the game. But like you said, the defense came alive. I think he threw 3 straight passes, didn't complete a single one, and then got picked off on the 3rd one, and that was ball game pretty much. And yes, Bosa was wreaking havoc. They were having a lot of problems trying to block him tonight. John Cedillo writes, at this point, an epitaph on Dak's career would be close, but not enough. I would amend that to say close, but not close enough. That's how I would put it. Yeah, that sounds about right. Niners fan, right? Our division going to be tough. Arizona has confidence and Kyler is balling and the Rams are back. I think you guys have given the rest of the division false confidence. I do. Kyler, I knew he was going to play well this year. He was on a mission. And James Conner is a problem. And the sooner they realize they got to feed 18, the faster that they'll be able to really take their offense to another level. Like, nobody's afraid of their offense if you trying to sell me on Michael Wilson and what's number 4's name? The little short dude. I like him, but he's a third option. Wilson's probably a third option for that matter. But nothing works if MHJ isn't the focal point, along with James Conner. This was the first game where I felt like, all right, y'all really starting to get in y'all bag together. You sprinkle in some Conner, and they could be problematic on offense. I still don't think they got enough on defense, but they found a way to get the stops that were necessary in the game to win. That safety was huge. It changed the whole game. They were going to lose that game. The Dolphins always make a stupid, boneheaded mistake that cost them. They did it against Jacksonville, or it actually was Jacksonville that did it. That allowed them to steal that game. And then they did it this game. That safety changed the whole game. Safety changed everything. They were on the verge of blowing them out. That got the safety. They got the 2 points, went down, scored a touchdown after that. Game won't never the same after that. And the Rams, they're healthy for now. I still don't trust them to stay healthy, but I never count out Sean McVay. I learned my lesson a long time ago. Never count out Sean McVay. It's going to be fun to watch that division. For sure. Casper the Barbarian says, 2-team race. Yeah. It's just us two, man. It's just us. I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah. Let's get it. Eric Sunderland says, I like the bear trap. I could roll with that. I'm telling you, I'm pushing that shit hard and heavy. The bear trap. That's what we calling it. As soon as I get off this joint, I'm gonna put a post out and I'm calling it the bear trap. And I'm gonna just keep posting about the bear trap. And I'm gonna hashtag it and I'm gonna try to get that shit spreading like wildfire. I said the brown bomb and everybody laughed at me when I said that. So yeah, I don't know if that was gonna go over well or not. Santa Clara fella says we need CMC, Lou, really, and Greenlaw. I agree. Like, one of your biggest issues this season has been your inability to score in the red zone. You bring back Christian McCaffrey and all of that goes away. He's a touchdown machine. There are just certain dudes that know how to sniff the end zone. And he's one of them guys, whether he's running it or you throw it to him out of it. And I think that's when you miss him the most, is the ability of Christian McCaffrey to catch the ball out of the backfield as a pass catching threat. And I thought you would do a better job of getting Debo back there and throwing it to him. But you'll get Debo back there, but you won't put him in the pass route. You'll get him back there to run it with him. And I'm like, why aren't you using him as a pass catcher out of the backfield, creating that mismatch out of the backfield as McCaffrey would do? But again, I guess I'm just tripping or something. Let's see. John Cedillo writes, need a technician at left tackle. Cut, steal, move Guyton to right tackle. Main issue is no push in the run game. he was always a pass blocking tackle at Oklahoma. They didn't like really run the ball to me super effectively. And that's not his strong suit. He was always better as a pass protector. And I too think he might be a right tackle. But such is life. Anyway, all right. So that's it. I don't got no more comments. So once again, give a quick shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this stream. Head over to betus.com. Use the promo code YouTube150. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on Sunday Night Football Overtime. Slow start for the 49ers in this game. But the third quarter was when they unleashed holy hell on the Cowboys, scoring 21 unanswered points in the frame. In total, the 49ers scored 24 unanswered points. This was a 10-3 ball game at one point, Dallas up. But they were able to score before the half and then scored 3 touchdowns in the third quarter, take what felt like a commanding 27-10 lead. Cowboys made it interesting late, cut the deficit to as close as the final score was, 6 points at 30-24, and even had the ball with a chance to take the lead. But Dak Prescott threw his second interception of the night, which proved to be the game-clinching interception as the 49ers hang on 30-24, get back to 500 on the season at 4-4, where they join the now 4-4 Arizona Cardinals, 4-4 Seattle Seahawks, who were big losers versus the Buffalo Bills. Cardinals, big win on the road at Miami with Tua back in the lineup. And, of course, the Rams got a big, big win on Thursday Night Football over the Minnesota Vikings. They're 3-4. So very competitive division in the NFC West, but I still think this 49ers team is the cream of the crop. Meanwhile, for Dallas, come off the bye week after getting drubbed 47-9 by Detroit prior to the bye, and then come off the bye, and the results don't look that much better. At least they didn't get their brains bashed in, but they still lost. And if you watch the game, it felt like the Baltimore game where you're like, yeah, you pretty much got your ass kicked. But you made it interesting late. Despite all of that, they're still 3-4. Schedule is not kind to the Cowboys, but look, this is what you essentially put yourself in the position to do. When you won all them games last year, you saddled up for a first place schedule. Now you got to find a way to navigate it. Next duty is the Atlanta Falcons. Can you beat the Atlanta Falcons? Get back to 500, and then you go from there. If not, you drop to 3-5, and at that point, you're really going to start to see this thing spiral out of control, I believe. So this is a big one for Dallas. After falling to 3-4, under 500, coming out of the bye, it's imperative that they get it done in week number 9 against the Atlanta Falcons. If they don't, I think it could get really, really dark fast for the Cowboys. But anyway, I digress. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on Sunday Night Football Overtime. 49ers 30, Cowboys 24. You guys have a good one. Take care. God bless and good night.